YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Friday, December 12th, and we have a 7-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts, let you know which sides I like, and stick around, because I'll let you know my highlighted play of the day. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recap yesterday, I dropped my highlighted play of the day. I took the Houston Rockets laying 9.5 points against the LA Clippers. It played out exactly how I expected in terms of the Clippers bench not showing up, but their starters did enough to keep them competitive. Harden, Kawhi, and Zubac combined for 79 points, and to make matters worse, Kevin Durant forgot how to shoot the ball. He went 5 for 14 from the field. Overall, just a poor offensive showing from the Rockets. They won the rebound battle 51-28, 23 more possessions in the game, so there's no way it should have even been close. I'm now 8-7-1 on all highlighted plays in December. Rough day yesterday, but let's get right back in that win column today. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are minus 290 on the money line, and the total is 232. This feels like a pretty textbook Pistons win. Porzingis is ruled out for Atlanta, while Detroit comes into it at full strength. I mentioned it in their last few games, and I think it applies here. While the Pistons probably win it, they haven't been the best against the spread. Just 6-6 ATS at home, 4-5 ATS when they're laying points. I can see Detroit winning this one by 5, but rather than grabbing the points with Atlanta and hoping they cover, I'm looking at a prop. Really my go-to guy, I'm taking Cade Cunningham to go over 25.5 points. His line is set at 26.5, but I'm pushing it down for around minus 130 odds. He's only cashed it twice in their last 5 games, mainly due to guys being reinserted into the lineup, but he's still getting up 20 shots a game. He's by far their best offensive player. If they're winning this one, he's scoring 26. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Bulls are minus 140 on the money line, and the total is 229. The Bulls are currently on a 7-game losing streak, so definitely not in the best form, but I will say this is a highly favorable spot tonight just based on injuries. The Hornets have LaMelo Ball, Trey Mann, and Colin Sexton all ruled out, while Moussa Diabate is listed as questionable. The Bulls will be without Kevin Huerter and Ayo Dosunmu, but I like that Josh Giddey is playing and Kobe White is listed as probable. These boys are desperate for a win, and considering all of Charlotte's guards are out, I think they get one tonight. You guys know I'm typically high on the Hornets, but this isn't the spot. I'm taking the Bulls laying the 3 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Washington taking on the Washington Wizards. Cavs are minus 1,200 on the money line, and the total is 242.5. Both teams have significant injuries coming into this one. For the Wizards, Alex Sarr, Chris Middleton, Corey Kispert, and Bilal Coulibaly are all ruled out. For the Cavs, Jared Allen, Max Strus, and Sam Merrill are all ruled out. Obviously, Cleveland is still the healthier and more talented team, but that's why they're laying 14 points. We've seen all season they've struggled to cover these extended numbers. They're now just 3-5 ATS when laying points on the road. You're losing money betting on them in this situation. I think the Wizards keep it scrappy and lose it by something like 13. Don't get me wrong, the Wizards haven't been great against the spread themselves, so it's more of a lean, but I'll lean to the Wizards plus a 14.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers in Philadelphia taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers are minus 290 on the money line, and the total is 224.5. The big injury news looming over this one is will Tyrese Maxey play? He's been downgraded to questionable with an illness. If he sits, the Pacers are going to have a very legitimate chance to win it outright. I'm personally waiting to see how the injury news breaks, but I think we're getting some value on the 7 points considering he's being downgraded. It looks like Joel Embiid will play, but that doesn't move the needle for me, and I like the way the Pacers' current lineup is playing. The tandem of Nembhard, Siakam, and Mathurin, they can keep a game competitive against Paul George and the boys. I'm taking the Pacers plus a 7 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz in Memphis taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are minus 260 on the money line, and the total is 242. This is a really tough game for me. At first glance, I was surprised to see the Grizzlies laying this many points, considering how many injuries they're facing, but they are 5-1 in their last 6 games. They won 3 of those by margin, and they're 5-1 against the spread when laying points at home. We've been able to trust them as home favorites. That's why I'm having a hard time fading them here. It really comes down to the fact that I don't love Zach Edey being back on the IR, considering the Jazz have bigs like Lauri Markkanen and Yusuf Nurkic. Based on the current lineups, I think Utah competes. I'm taking the Jazz plus a 7 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we're the Brooklyn Nets in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Mavs are minus 320 on the money line, and the total is 222. This is an interesting matchup. Two teams heading in different directions, but right now they kind of meet in the middle. The Mavs had high expectations ever since the AD trade. They're currently 9 and 16 on the season. I think everyone expected Brooklyn to be one of the worst teams in the league, which they are, but 6 and 17 isn't far off from Dallas. I like what I've seen from a lot of the Nets role players like Noah Clowney and Danny Wolf. I can see them keeping this game competitive. I think it's wise to grab the 8 points, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at another prop. Another one of my go-to guys, I'm taking Michael Porter Jr. to go over 23.5 points as my highlighted selection of the evening. His line is set at 24.5, but you can find the 23 for around minus 130 odds. He's emerging as one of the most consistent scorers in the league. He's dropped over 30 in their last 3 straight. He's averaging 25.8 on the season and shooting 39% from behind the arc. He's getting 24, no problem. Lock it in. In our last and final matchup, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are minus 125 on the money line, and the total is 231.5. Both teams have a few significant injuries coming into this one. It looks like Steph Curry will be back for Golden State, but they'll be without Draymond Green and Al Horford. For the Wolves, Mike Conley is ruled out, and Anthony Edwards is listed as questionable with right foot soreness. Of course, I'd like to know if Ant plays, but either way, the Warriors are dramatically outmatched in size. With Draymond and Horford out, your only center is Quentin Post. If the Warriors shoot lights out, they can still compete, but they're definitely losing their rebounding battle. That's what leads me to my final selection of the evening. I'm taking Rudy Gobert to go over 9.5 rebounds. There's literally no one to stop him. As long as he plays 28 minutes, he's definitely grabbing 10. Lock it in. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. 8, 7, and 1 on all highlighted plays in December. Let's get right back in that win column tonight. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.